First, let me say thank you for having me today. We approached this problem as a research project, assembled a team of 15 Gettysburg College sociology students. And the research question that we were striving to ask was, what were the effects of the state budget impact on the Adams County service organizations and on the clients who use those organizations? Methodology, it was a standard in-depth interview study. We found 36 total respondents. Almost half were clients of the different service organizations, and almost half were either managers, employees, or volunteers of the various service organizations. The key difference in the effects of the budget impasse on these different organizations was the kind of diversification of funding that they had. First off, for the organizations that were mostly government funded, it was a flat disaster. Even those who had a variety of state and federal funding, that kind of diversity wasn't enough to stave off immediate crisis. Now, those who were less reliant on government funding, who had partners within the community who were various kinds of private partners, they were affected less severely. Secondly, in the face of the funding shortages, the CSOs really scrambled to make ends meet. In some cases, they laid off workers, they shut down vital programs, many extended their business credit, they secured loans from local businesses and organizations, and they petitioned for help from community services. Those community service organizations who were more locally funded were often able to shift funding around to meet their needs. Now, where it has affected their employment, the financial crisis has increased the hardships of those clients of the community service organizations. One downside that we found was that many of the clients of the community service organizations were already poor enough that unless they actually faced direct employment problems, the financial crisis didn't have a very large effect on them. Some of the service organization clients would have been seriously vulnerable if their CSOs had shut down. The two specific were the domestic violence shelter for abused women. This was one of those that was threatened to shut down, and in that situation, the women may have had to have gone back to their abusers. The homeless shelter also was just days from shutting down, and those folks many of them had no place to go. Now that the immediate crisis is over, people are certainly relieved, but there is still wariness for the future. Within the community service organizations, both the clients and the staff that we spoke with, there is proactive planning and some nervousness about what's coming. The citizens of the county that we spoke to, they're both cautiously optimistic that things will improve, but there's still wariness on that part. Now, if I could take a moment, the best way to illustrate what we heard from the clients is to actually use some of their own words. So if I turn to the report on slide 33, a client of the local soup kitchen says, "I was very upset, worried, wondering where my next meal was coming from. How was I going to pay my bills?" So basically what I did is I just went right back out and started looking for another job. If I turn to slide 34, the bottom quote, "I'm a single parent to 4 children, so the type of job I was able to get was retail. That means I had to work some nights and evenings, and even though my children are age appropriate to be left at home with each other, they weren't accustomed to doing that. It was very uncomfortable for me to leave them at home." If I go to slide 37, "We can't pay for the doctor's visit, we have to buy groceries. So hopefully she'll stay healthy." 38, the kids don't see it. They don't know what it means to be in poverty. I've had to cut back on McDonald's, something special to do for them through the week. Some days we'd splurge and go to McDonald's, and they were getting off the dollar menu. That's something we had to cut out because of the layoff. The final quote, I really don't have a plan except for finding another job. Hell, I don't know. I'm just living month to month. Now, these are the clients, regular citizens of Adams County. We found them going through the service organizations. So the service organizations we partnered with and working with this, these are people who are already dealing with some services. They're involved in some way with these organizations. These aren't just people that we found on the street to speak with. I'll be happy at the end to take any questions about the report, and let me say that it is available at gettysburg.edu/CPS. Thank you.